Dum, beetle dum dum, beetle dum dum, beetle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing.
And then I put it online for the world to enjoy.
Definitely.
And I mean, I'm sorry, Pritchard and I, even when I was invited by the squadron commander for the 576th at Vandenberg.
That's awesome.
Okay? Kelly. Colonel Kelly was his name. I can't think of his first name. Super gentleman. I mean, here I am out there. I get to go through all of these first-generation sites I'm shooting the pictures of that, you know, of course I've studied for years. And we're talking about Pritchard. And how I'm saying that, look, why, you know, he's got all of these technical orders, which the Air Force, that's another name for manuals. See, I'm Army. Army was always FM-, which means field manuals.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And the technical orders was the Air Force way of their manuals. Well, he had all of these, so you would think we could, you know, geez, let me take this, let me digitize it. You know, I mean, if you go on Siloworld even now, you're going to see the pages and pages and pages of the downloaded,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
PDFs.
have at it.
Yeah, PDFs and all that.
You know, it's like, that's why we all did this, was to share. And then we got the granddaddy of it all. We got the bulk of the Titan II prints from, what was it, Phase 3 construction clear through all dismantlement prints. I mean, in 4 of us, we were all site owners. We went in together and we bought a commercial grade copier that would take E-size prints. And it's sitting in an Atlas F site in Oklahoma, one of our good friends, and because he's the computer man. And we use that even today in hell. It's what, 15 years old?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's how we put it all together. But back on just, I mean, not to just lay out, I don't even know if Pritchard's still living, and I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but I mean, there's just some guys that could never get this across, was that, look, and no offense, I'm going to bring up another one. It was the National Aerospace Trust.
Yeah.
I mean, me and that guy, I mean, Fred was a partner in that, Fred Epler.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, it's like we went, we went around and around that, no, this stuff is for everybody to see. He tried to deny me access to the museum at Fairchild Air Force Base that had the definitive collection that had been given to them. And he tried to deny me access. And a dear friend of mine, a retired Light Colonel Bill Huey, picked up the phone because Bill knew what he was doing. He calls the Inspector General of the United States Air Force. And before I know it, I have a letter from the commander at Fairchild saying,
Yeah.
Mr. Baker, you are more than welcome to view any portion of this collection you would like to at any time.
That is awesome. I don't understand if all the money that was sunk into it, and obviously we appreciate it for the deterrence factor and the fact that these sites exist. I mean, some people they don't like the fact that all the money was wasted, or what. That's their view. But these sites are here. They served a purpose. I
think I mean, Bryce, you've got to explain, just like when I do it, when I have folks on the Airbnb staying at my site, I really take them through it, you know, between the early 50s to 1965. You know, by the end of June, all first-generation ICBM sites were completely deactivated.
Right.
The United States federal government spent $6 billion.
Yeah.
Okay? That don't sound like a lot of money today. And my analogy to all of the folks that stay is I explain to them that, look, my parents bought a brand new 1966 Chevrolet Impala for $3,200.
Yeah.
That was 11 years after the fact, because that $6 billion is based on 55 money. So you can imagine if a new car was $3,200, what was $6 billion? That's a lot of doggone money.
Yeah, and you got 72 Atlas F. Just Atlas F, and then you have the D's and the E's and the Titans.
Absolutely, and the Titan ones. And then we turn around and we scratch our head. I mean, look, how I explained to them on Site 4 in Roswell. You know, construction begins in June of 1960. It takes 2.5 years to build them. It takes longer to build them than to operate them. Okay?
Right.
At a cost of, with the missile now, $22 million. Okay? My site, Site 4, sells for, at government auction, GSA, okay, in 1968 for $1,700.
Damn.
Okay? Because I have all of the deactivation records.
That's crazy.
Every one of them. For all the sites. I mean, so this is like, okay, but before everybody really goes off the deep end thinking, oh my God, this is standard military, you know, $10,000 toilet seats and $20,000 hammers.
No way.
Ask yourself the question, what in the world are you going to do with an obsolete missile system basing mode in the middle of nowhere? Because let's face it, most missile bases are not in prime areas of America. You know, I mean, they're in godforsaken spots. I mean, they just are.
The Adirondack Mountains. I mean, it's a... Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with these things? And I mean, in all honesty, I mean, I have the reports. The Air Force truly tried. They set up a complete kind of a division that did nothing more than kind of a think tank of how they could turn these into something.
Really?
How they could justify some of the dollars spent. Because let's face some facts. I have the Senate hearings. They raked those generals over the coals. Congress was pissed.
Right.
You don't spend that kind of money and promise us a missile system for 20, 30, even 40 years and deliver us two. I mean, they were not friendly. I mean, if you read what the senators and the congressmen are asking these generals, it was not pretty. Because, of course, they're getting pressure of, oh, my God, you spent all this money? For what? Well, it's like I say, you know, the missile system we got the best use out of. We launched Atlas missiles clear into the mid-90s.
Oh, yeah. Satellites
okay.
and all that, yeah.
Exactly, whether they were satellites or advanced ballistic reentry testing, anti-ballistic missile testing, we got our money's worth there. But as for the basing mode, I'm sorry. What again are you going to do with these? It's like the Titan ones. I mean, those to me were the absolute granddaddies.
Oh, yeah.
And what made it so very special is that my grandfather worked on them in Washington. My uncle was the superintendent of not just one of the Titan 1 sites out of Larson, but all three.
That's awesome.
I mean, I remember going out with my grandfather to see him, to look at his pictures, to hear the stories. You know, but at the end of the day, they were radio guided. I mean, can you imagine? We did not have the technology to really understand a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind this just for, not even Titan, but just for Atlas. In June of 1960, the Walker sites begin construction. We didn't even have the technology to launch the missile from within the silo. We didn't get that till the SLTF site took off.
That's where we're going.
In 61. Exactly. I mean, so what? I don't know. I mean, it's just...